Think it's so blessed land of beauty. Where is your destiny? For you're now the subject of much confusion, creating diversion from your peaceful destination. Day after day we have heard your cry. Citizens, you're the ones on whom I rely to restore my glorious pride and honor, and the atmosphere of peace once shared by your ancestors. Oh, but we have watched foreigners trying to deprive our right, using sons of a soil, our nations to exploit, while we foolishly look on, figuring that we are wrong if we raise our voice in opposition. No way! But we have the right to accept and the right to object anything for this nation. We have the right to inspect and the right to protect everything that God has laid in our hands. Oh yeah. But how can we truly say that we love this land if we stand and observe it heading for destruction? If the right is ours to be free, then tell me, then the right is ours to decide our destiny. If we have to stand up and fight, then let's unite, for we have the right. Oh yeah. Oh, no lie, die. Oh lie, oh lie.
Share the love, share the love.
Have the right to criticize things that are displeasing to our eyes. For when such things happen and we don't utter, how could we expect situations to become any better? Well, if our leaders are accused of corruption, bringing joys to the rich people of this land, while the poor continue to scrunt and suffer. Citizens, this means our silence must reign no longer. If we close our eyes and our ears and pretend to be mute, keep on living in fear of facing the truth, we should hang our heads in shame, for then you know we are to blame for sending our nation down the drain. Whoa! We have the right to accept and object anything pertaining to this nation. Tell me, we have the right to inspect and the right to protect everything that God has laid in our hands. Oh yes. For how can we truly say that we love this land if we stand and observe it heading for destruction? If the right is ours to be free, then tell me where the right is ours to decide our destiny. If it means that we have to fight, then let's unite and stand for our right. Oh, yo.
Share the love, share the love.
Eli, oh, yeah. Why should we as Calypsonians have to face victimization when we think of things happening in this island that affects the populace and our national progression? How when we sing to entertain, we are applauded and given good name, but as soon as we sing of this nation dissolution, it affects the populace and it causes much contention. If our nation's grievance we fail to publicize, putting our people on guard and opening their eyes, then we should abandon this stage. Our efforts is an outrage, contradicting our Indian heritage. Oh yes, we have the right to sing out. Let our voices ring out to educate this nation. We have the right to be heard. Every verse, every word on a national radio station. Oh yes, not in condemnation, but issuing advice, hoping to bring this land back to paradise. Look, we have the right to be free. Oh yes, to work and secure our dignity. Citizens, if we have to fight, then let's unite and stand for a right.
To the Lord, to the Lord.
Whoa!
Yes, my good people of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I'm DJ Maurice, and I'm coming to you this evening from a remote location, different time zone, here in the UK, Birmingham to be exact, broadcasting to you right here from my sister's residence. I'm pretty sure she's somewhere laughing at this moment, knowing the fact that I turned her place, her bungalow here, into a studio. But I'm here, dropping to the UK this morning, early this morning, by way of JFK to the Heathrow Airport. Came in to show my last respect and celebrate the life of my good sister, dear Sylvia Hutchinson. Tomorrow, I'll give some update on that later on in the program. But in the meantime and between time, if you're scrolling the web and you run into us and wondering what this podcast is all about, as usual, I will drop a ad here so that you can get an understanding of what this podcast is all about. So, my good people, I'm DJ Marisha, like I said, out of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, the Republic of St. Paul's to be exact, and I'm currently here in the UK for my sister's funeral tomorrow, Thursday, the 3rd of April. So let's drop this ad.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishall, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Log on.
Yes, you heard that right. Every Wednesday evening, each and every Wednesday evening, we are here via the DJ Marisha Experience to bring you all of the goodies there about our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. This evening, we are broadcasting live from Birmingham, England, to be exact. Now, let's take a quick check across there to my boy, Brother Carbo in Fountain Nevis, and here we have what he has to tell us.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Punji and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over, you got the food all over.
Yes, you heard it right, Brother Carbo have the food all over the Federation, right there in the island of Nevis and in St. Kitts. Carbo is available for your catering needs for any occasion. Feel free when you reach out to Carbo to let him know DJ Marisha sent you. Now, let's not forget my girl there, Sister Carmen of Carmen Caterers. Let's hear what Carmen have to tell us.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
That's for sure. And Sister Carmen is there at Shirley Lane, just opposite the West Ferry Terminal in downtown Bass there, from Monday to Saturday, 12 noon until 5 p.m. When you go there, just that Sister Carmen or that DJ Marisha sent you. She is also over there in Boyd's Village in the bus stop opposite the Agaro shop there for the Everett Agaro. When you go there, let him know DJ Marisha sent you and make sure you leave a drink for the DJ. Now let's take a quick listen to my boy, Brother Daniel there of the Hydro Farm in Nevis, telling you about some business strategies.
Welcome to Strategies for Business Success, right here on 2020visionradio.com and on 102.1 FM with business development advocate Daniel Arthurton. Each week, Danny will build on a foundation to ensure your success in business. Being in business can be daunting, and strategies for business success can help you avoid the pitfalls. Join Danny right here on 2020visionradio.com, on 102.1 FM, and on your other social media platforms every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. That's right, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The time and place for your business dreams to come true.
Yes, that's Brother Danny there of the Hydro Farm there in Davis. Just take with Danny and let him know. DJ Maurice Essential. Well, let's take a quick listen to what my brother there, the man Malvern Gums out of the Spectrum Band, St. Thomas USVI, have to say about the DJ this evening.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that?
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Right there. And my good people, I was trying to bring some of my island purified water across to the UK so that I could be in some peppy mood for this evening. But you know, those folks in St. Kitts there, they wasn't nice to me at RLB at all. They told me I was 6 pounds over my 50 pounds limit. I had to take out my island purified water and end up here in the UK. I had to settle for this today. So tonight, if you see me a little down, it's because I don't have my island purified water. So remember to support businesses that support you, and check my boy there, Brother Powell and his team at Main Street, Newton Ground in St. Kitts. Island Purified Water is the good water people of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Continue to support businesses that support you. My good people, we have a very serious commentary here tonight from my boy G.A. Dwyer Astafan as promised last week. And we are back on the matter of the MSR situation and the CBI there in our beloved Federation. I know many of you out there might want this story to go away, but if you know the DJ gonna follow things to the end. When it ends, you will know, because the DJ will let you know that it's ended. So we have about 2 minutes before the 6 o'clock hour, which is the start of the podcast. So I think I have a few minutes to big up some people and recognize some folks in the UK. What do you think about that, Sister Lynn? I hope that you don't have an issue with this. The good thing is that I arrived into the area here safe, and there's some folks that I know I'll be happy to see tomorrow. I have not seen in a good while. So Sister Lynn, I know that you are down, but you are not out. I hope you get well soon, feel better soon, and you'll be back on your feet in the not too distant future. Well, I want to big up my boy, Brother Ruben Daniel and Brother Timothy Daniel for picking me up at Heathrow this morning. That was on time, and it definitely bring the DJ across to the Birmingham area safe. Some 100+ miles they drove to drop me here in Birmingham and then drove back to London. So I want to thank those genuine brothers there out of St. Paul, St. Kitts to be exact, for accommodating the DJ. I also want to big up some folks this evening like Brother Telford, Jerry Blythe, George Warner, Osbert Freeman, Yvonne, Sandra Millie. How about my girl, the Sister Margaret Taylor, Jennifer, my sister Jennifer there, Brother Clive, Jermaine, Charlene, Daniel, Gladys, Phoebian. Just want to let you guys know that the DJs in the area look forward to seeing you guys. I heard of some passing there in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. My brother there, my cousin Bennett, who works at the Central Bank, and condolences to his family. Hope that I'll be back in time for that funeral. My partner there, Brother Captain Mills, he lost his son. I think his funeral maybe sometime tomorrow as well. If not yesterday, I think it's tomorrow. Sorry, I won't be able to make that funeral. My brother, also my cousin there, Dr. Martin, also lost his mom. I would not be back in the Federation on time for that funeral either, but I had to be here in the UK. You know, Jerry, before his passing, made it clear to me that, Jeffrey, should anything happen to me and my kids, you know the situation, how we live. I don't want to hear any stories. Make sure you're in the UK to give support to the family. So I am here, and without any further ado, I'm going to drop my first act for this evening, the commentary of Brother J.A. Dwyer Astafan. Stand by.
Greetings. It may be time to take out our funeral clothes in the Eastern Caribbean, because the cold hand of death may now be touching the CBI program of Antigua Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. The European Union is about to introduce legislation in its parliament which would remove the visa waiver for travel to 28 European countries by persons who hold economic citizenship of these and other countries, ours and others. So only people who acquire citizenship by natural causes, birth, descent, marriage, and naturalization, will have a chance to enjoy the visa waiver into the European Union. This will be disastrous for our CBI. And as if it is not enough, the Americans are applying pressure as well. If this happens, and it seems inevitable, then somebody please call Pastor Connor to do the last rites over our CBI. This disaster has been threatening for years. People, including myself, have been cautioning for years. Clearly, not enough has been done about it. How did we get here? Let's look back a little bit. Our CBI was started in 1984. It operated pretty much as a one-man show. No accountability, no transparency. It wasn't big, at least not for the country. Then in 2006, the SIDF was introduced. SIDF is a foundation established by the National Trust Company, which is 100% owned by National Bank, which itself is 51% owned by the government. So while it is not formally part of the government, it is in reality under the control of the government, more specifically under the control of the Prime Minister. And over the years, it has operated pretty much like a secret society. A bad start that has contributed to the judgment day that we're now facing. Now you can argue that the European Union and the United States may have always wanted to close down these CBIs. But I think it would be fair to say also that we have given them reason to do so. Some of the egregiousness and slackness that have taken place. A well thought out CBI program would be governed by prudent policy and practices relating to population, capacity, limits, ethnic, social, cultural, and economic stability, clear electoral and constitutional safeguards, including but not restricted to rights, voting, citizenship, succession, land and business ownership, electoral eligibility, national security, institutional and infrastructural resiliency, and so on. But from 2006, the dazzle of dollars became the main focus. Too much poor leadership, too much slackness, too much greed. In 2006, the Douglas administration, of which I was a member, signed a deal with a Swiss company named Henley & Partner, giving Henley & Partner exclusive worldwide rights to promote and market the SIDF. Henley & Partner would receive $20,000 for each successful applicant, whether it processed the application or not. And of course, if it processed the application, it would extract a fee, maybe $10,000 from each applicant. So Henley & Partner were both the exclusive worldwide promotion and marketing agent and still a sales agent. A bit excessive, in my opinion. And if I recall correctly, on top of that, they still wanted to do the due diligence, which would be terribly wrong. Now, persons who are far brighter and more knowledgeable of these things than I am tell me that the SIDF generated about $1 billion under the leadership of Douglas and another $1 billion under the leadership of Harris. When I call these numbers, ask yourselves what you got out of it under Douglas and what you got out of it under Harris. And ask yourselves why we are where we are, given all of this money that has been generated. Why are we where We are. And why is the burden of the present government? And they're not free. But why is the burden of the present government so heavy? This is the main reason. The money that should have been made available to lift this country to the next level. Poof. I will not take the billion. I'll be more conservative. I will presume that under Douglas, the SIDF generated 500 million. And under Harris, 500 million US. That's 1.35 billion under each EC. Douglas parted ways with Henley in 2013, and a new group named CS Global was brought in to replace them. This is after 7 years. We had already gotten our feet wet. We knew the industry. We did not need such an arrangement. But Douglas brought in CS Global in 2013. No explainable, no sound, no logical justification for a move like that. By my estimate, Henley and partner could have pocketed 80 million US dollars out of their arrangement with the Douglas administration. And CS Global maybe twice that out of its relationship with Douglas, Harris, and Drew. So you're looking at 240 or even 3 times that, I could say. Between 240 and 320 million US dollars for those 2 companies. Possible. Who under God's heaven can convince anybody with common sense and a conscience that these have been good deals for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? And all of that money does not include the at least 500 million US dollars that has been bled from our country to the Tilofs project at Frigate Bay, the Chinese project at West Farm, and the Ramada Inn, all of which made a load of money for them, but was a failure for us. Meanwhile, the US warned, Canada warned, the UK warned, the European Union warned. And what did our leaders do? They gave our passports to Mogadama, to Arthur Porter, to Tursun Bayev, to Charles Obiang, to Hush Puppy, and to a number of other bad eggs. Defiant. They even gave diplomatic passports to some of these scamps. What kind of leadership have we had in this country? Why are we lionizing people who have done so much damage to us and have pushed us now to the precipice of destruction? But that's not all, you know. There are the international marketing agents. These people operate outside of St. Kitts Nevis. They market the CBI products. And they control the industry, charging massive commissions and dictating which local authorized agents work and how much they work for. These international market agents make between 20,000 and 50,000 US dollars for each successful application. So for every 1,000 citizenships transacted, they earn between 20 and 50 million US dollars, which is paid to them by the developer or by the government, depending on which option they're selling. And the government, of course, is you. Now, I don't expect to get services for free, but this situation with the international marketing agents has long gotten out of hand, and it is they who successfully pressured our governments to turn a blind eye to the underpricing of the CBI product, because our governments saw money passing, big money. Some of these international marketing agents are so powerful and corrupt that governments seem afraid to remove them from the list. They have generated, in my opinion, between 800 million US dollars and $1 billion US dollars over the years out of our CBI. So between them and all of the others, CS Global, Henley and Partner, and so forth, you're looking at about 2 billion US dollars, at least, which is about 5 billion EC dollars. Billion, you know, not 100 or 1,000 or million, billion with a B. With regard to the jail project, Galaxy wholesaled all of their 4,400 files to international marketing agents at a discounted price, pocketing about $400 million up front. And they made more money by having their affiliate company do the due diligence. So you're looking at $475 to $500 million through the Galaxy bank accounts From the jail project alone, the international marketing agents made over $200 million. All of that money flying out, generated from St. Kitts and Nevis, but little or none of it landing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Typical colonial paradigm, typical rip-off of the people of a country by foreign bloodsuckers with the help, intended or otherwise, of local people. Because the rip-off artists always have locals whom they can use. Bloodsuckers, including some of our own, as I've said. They're after money and more money, not giving a damn about our people. They've managed to manipulate successive administrations in these islands to the point that we are now on the precipice, ready to fall off. Poor leadership over the years, conflicted regulators, smugness, greed, and corruption. And you add them all up, and you see where we are today. Looking for Pastor Connor to do last rites over our CBI. And the straw that broke the camel's back was the Galaxy Jail project. Now it's possible that most people, if not everybody, who made money from this jail project, made money from illegal transactions. It is possible. And every single one of them needs to compensate the government and the people of this country. Whether you're foreigner or local, if you're involved, we want reparations from you. Those, and we know exactly who they are and about how much they made from the jail project. Those who are in the Federation, they should each finance the construction of one or two or more houses for some poor people in this country. Show a conscience, give back, seek redemption, get back in the good graces of the poor people of this land. Blessed is he who considereth the poor, and begin to show that it is not harder for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Put yourself in heaven by taking some of our poor people out of hell with that money you've made from the CBI. Meanwhile, with all of the damage done to our CBI and our country by Galaxy, Galaxy still has not been banned by our government. The biggest culprit walking free. Do you see why the European Union and the US are pissed off? And remember, Galaxy is highly placed in the China order of things. So the US and the European Union have good reason to be concerned that this is more than just economic plunder. They think it is political plunder as well, and geopolitics. CS Global, Galaxy of course, needs to compensate the government and people of this country, and we need to acquire Ramada and whatever else we can acquire to help make good the bad that has been done to us. They're not doing us any good. CS Global needs to compensate the people of this country, give back $200 million at least. Why are we still doing business with them? Why? Could this be a reason that the European Union and the US are doing business with these people still? Could this be a reason for these institutions to want to pull the plug on us? Are our politicians afraid of Galaxy and CS Global? I ask because instead of demanding all jail applicants to prove that they pay the full amount and give them 3 months to pay the balance, that's to the government, pay the balance to the government. The government has restricted itself only to the 185 files presented to them in a case before the court by MSR. And it is interesting that the government, which is using the MSR evidence to go against the 185 Galaxy applicants, has delisted MSR, struck MSR off the program, but not Galaxy and not the other culprits. Ask yourselves why. Let's go to that same case. There was a sitting last week, Monday. But even prior to that, the government high-powered lawyers from Jamaica showed that they had no case against MSR. They could not answer the judicial review case properly. Underpricing was admitted. They were up the creek and had no paddle. So last Monday, they sat down to draft the court order under the guidance of the judge. And it was agreed that, as the government had done with the 185 files, it would do likewise with the remaining 4,200 files. In other words, write to the applicants, demand the money. But the government lawyers, maybe to save face, not to appear embarrassed, I don't know why, asked, even insisted that that particular paragraph not be expressly included in the court order, but they would go along with it. This is what I was told. The government would go along with it, shake hands on it. The MSR lawyer agreed. But then on Monday night, gentleman's agreement, then on Monday night, the government issues a press release, ill-advisedly, presumably under the directive of the Attorney General's office, to give the impression to the public that the matter was now ended, to suggest to people that it was all a waste of time by MSR, a nothing burger, as they say in the United States. This was a very serious and misleading misstep by the government, and somebody should pay for that. Mind you, the court order had not yet been signed, and so the matter was not closed. Playing politics with this was a foolish move to make by the government, whoever made it on behalf of the government. And my presumption is that it originated in the Attorney General's office or at the behest of that office. So the lawyer from MSR said, no, this is not going to happen like this because you all are giving the wrong impression. And in any event, the order has not been signed. So they have applied to vacate the order. So they have to go back to court. So what is the government going to say? Unnecessary embarrassment, a waste of money in a case that you couldn't win, and a case whose evidence you used to go after the 185 people. Why not go after all 4,400? Why not? What are you afraid of? Who is holding your tongue? Who is holding your hand? And all of this has come to a very great cost for the taxpayers. And where are we now? The Americans and the European Union are frothing at the mouth, threatening to deliver the death blow. Where is the sense in the approach that we are seeing by the government, led by the legal department? Arrogance, playing Russian roulette with the people's CBI, and your future, allowing bloodsuckers to dry us up. These are the things that have us here, cuddling up to badness and leaving our people exposed. Here is my bottom line on this. The Prime Minister should never have signed any of these Galaxy applications. Who advised him to sign them? Was he pressured to sign them? What plausible reason can he give to have approved the pursuit of 185 cases, the evidence for which was provided by MSR, but not the remaining 4,200 cases? What plausible reason? The information was sufficient to presume that it was correct and proper and necessary to pursue all. Is the protection of the few more important than the best interest of the entire nation? The Prime Minister received bad advice, and given this is a matter with potentially catastrophic consequences for us, he needs to call for the resignation of the persons who gave him this bad advice. And it is time that the scoundrels who over the years robbed and facilitated the robbery of the people of this country of billions of dollars and of the opportunity to achieve now, not in the long future, but now, sustainable prosperity. It is time for them to get a jail. Every single one of them. Strip them of the flashy suits. Strip them of the fancy watches. Strip them of the big rides. Take them from business class on the airline and 5-star rooms in the hotels and send them to 1840 or the Galaxy jail. Everybody looks good in blue denim. Look at what these people have done to us. Look at where we are.
Yes, my good people. That is the commentary for G.A. Dwyer Astafan for today, Wednesday, April 2nd. You know, it really saddens me that we are where we are at the moment in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Not too long ago, we had a Team Unity administration, which got elected back in 2015. And that Team Unity administration comprised of 3 political parties. And you could say 3 of the main political parties. Because on St. Kitts, you had the People's Action Movement, PAM, who led by then Sean K. Richards. And St. Kitts, you had the then Prime Minister, the Honorable Timothy Harris, his PLP party, and Nevis, the Concerned Citizen Movement, CCM, led by, at the time, I think was Vance Emery, but took over by Premier Brantley, who is currently the Premier of Nevis. And I understand he should be the royal opposition leader, sorry, but he's more loyal than royal. So I do not know which one it is. But that party, in my view, as I always say to people, every party, every government in St. Kitts Nevis had done some good, but they have also done some damage to our beloved Federation. And during COVID, I got a close look, front row seat in the operations of mismanagement, corruption, and everything else that you could call it. And thanks to Brother Timothy Harris, after a great conversation, and I requested that I stayed at my property in St. Paul's when I come into the Federation, since it's closer and nobody is in it. He gave me a number for Abdiel Samuels, tell me to make that arrangement. When I spoke to Abdiel Samuels told me, boy, Marisha, that's something the cabinet have to approve. But it was not too long after that, maybe a couple of days, if not a week, my partner Timothy Harris came out on his bully pulpit, as they would say, and made a statement that everybody have to go into quarantine. You ain't going into nobody's house, you ain't going into nobody's car, 14 days in quarantine. And if you test after 14 days and you're not clean, it's 14 more days in your hands. That was Timothy Harris' message to me. And I decided I wanted to ensure that our people are getting what was promised to them and what I think is right, based and human rights around the globe. So I made myself the guinea pig, and I went down to the Federation and quarantined over there at the JACTA, the Royal St. Kitts. And I observed a lot of things, a lot of the lies that the government was telling the people. And when I speak about it from my quarantine, I get cussed by a lot of people who I thought was friends. Many of them today, government changed, they're in their big job and acting like they're big Labour supporters, but they had their things to say about me. They had their things to say about the Labour Party. And at the time, I wasn't really campaigning for Labour Party when I started, I just wanted to get rid of Timothy Harris because he misled his friend. And I don't lie to people. I don't mislead people. So once you're going to mislead me, we're going to have a problem. But I can recall during that period, there were some other people who basically had a similar mindset as myself, who wanted to see the back of that administration, who had supported it. People like Sam Kanda, Dwyer Astafan, Douglas Watley, the Big Lies, and many others realized that a mistake was made and they wanted to get rid of that administration as well. So I was able to coordinate with them and come together and form an alliance. But I remember the argument between Tim and them. He said he had the O because he was the man calling the shots and decide what's going to happen. So what the big Timo did, he made sure he called election in 2020 in the height of COVID and shut down the borders so no voters can come in from overseas to impact the election. And he won a second term easily. But what Timothy did not work out in all his scheming and all his planning, that there's somebody out there like this DJ that will not give up until things is set right. And when everybody lost faith and decided they're going to wait until 2025 for the next election season, I decided no, Timo must go. And I start my campaign. I have said this on many occasions, and I might say it in different form, but it's the same thing. It was on this podcast sometime in 21. I had Sam Kanda and Dwyer Astafan here. And Dwyer decided he wanted to ask me a question. And the question was, Well, Jeffrey, if election was in 2020, and we are now in 21, and election is constitutional during 25, you're campaigning for election in 22. Well, how are you going to get that vote? And I said to Dwyer, who is a much stronger scholar than I am, I said, Dwyer, there's some big stone around Old Road Bay. Do you think the DJ could go around Old Road Bay, pick up one of those big stones and put it in my vehicle and take it in my yard in St. Paul's? He said, no. I said, but if the DJ take a 2-pound hammer, a chisel and a bucket and go around there every evening and chip at that stone, can I move it in my yard in St. Paul's? He said, yes. I said, well, do I pay attention, because I will not give up until we rid the country of that cancer we have called immunity, led by Timothy Harris. And when my partner Dougie and them say they cock in the foot and drinking the coffee and they cock in the foot and minding the business till 25, the DJ was out there from New York to St. Kitts campaigning. As a matter of fact, I remember the then National Secretary of the Labour Party. I made contact with her asking for support of the Labour Party and my mission. And she told me the people them said they had no interest. There are people today driving around in government vehicle, Governor General vehicle and all. Tell me that if I want him to march on the street of St. Kitts with me, I have to pay them because I can't be working for free, working so hard. They're not going to march with me unless I pay them. Everything was transactional under that administration and everybody fall for it. Needless to say, I steady focus, I steady course, and we know the end result, what happened. A couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, Timothy called for the head of 6 of them. The government fall, here we are, we have a Labour Party. Now, during the campaign of 22, Labour didn't have to do much to win our government, because that administration with those 3 parties already screwed up, and we had various individuals out here showing the people the direction to work. So it was very easy for Labour to get in there, in my concern. Labour ain't really work. I don't think Labour was prepared for government. They just was going along with the program. And you could see what's happening today. They were just going along with the program. Because you're going to tell me, we campaign on the electoral office. We campaign on the fake marriages. We campaign on the prison project. We campaign on the peace program. We campaign on the minimum wages. We campaign on the PEP, the STEP, name it. While I was on the outside, everything that we campaign on, they were ready to rumble. And you're going to tell me that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis gave this Labour administration the opportunity on August 5th, 2024, to put in place what they promised. And it appears today, what they promised was all talk. And I'm talking meetings them tonight, my good people. You know why? I am broadcasting from Birmingham. So even if they turn off electricity in St. Paul's tonight, internet, my screen ain't going dark unless they have a long hand reach to reach Birmingham. And this podcast will be on YouTube and it will be on Facebook. So I'm talking meetings then, right? I want us to understand that the DJ is not against the Prime Minister. The DJ is not against the Labour Party. But the DJ have to call a spade a spade. We're going to call the things like they are. This matter that we're dealing with today, with our CBI, with MSR, was avoidable. We campaigned on these things. We knew who bad actors were in advance. Nobody set up nobody. Everybody went in there with the eye wide open shut, it appears. Because when Prime Minister you're going to stand up in Parliament and say he was set up. But he had the information in advance. Who set him up? Is it the AG set him up? Is it his colleagues in his cabinet set him up? Because for sure, I don't believe anybody in the opposition set up them because we campaign on these things. They knew what the problems were. Everybody walking around doing as they please. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to be jumping around this evening, my good people. I'm going to be jumping around because this podcast, this commentary that Dwyer did a while ago, cover a whole slew of information that I myself brought to the government attention, brought to the Prime Minister attention. In November of 24, the Prime Minister had an opportunity to address these issues before it blew up like this. The situation was mishandled, in my opinion. And whether his advisors or whoever, my good people, it appears the same is a lawless country. Because criminals continue to get the benefit while the hard-working and the struggling citizens of our beloved federation get the dirty end of the stick. That is what I have observed. And I cannot help but to be frank. And when I say frank, I'm DJ Marisha. I don't name Frank. I'm saying being open, being honest with the whole situation. Because if we are not honest with our government, our cabinet ministers of the mistake they're making, then we are going over the cliff together, and I'm not going to jump over no cliff with nobody, you know. I'm not jumping over no cliff with anybody. As Dwyer said in his commentary, whoever in that ministry, whether it's the AG or whoever was assigned to that ministry that made a decision for that nonsense to put out that story last Monday about the MSR matter, need to be relieved of their duties. Whoever at the SKNIS who put out that story, they need to be relieved. And I'm going to talk directly to my boy Erasmus Williams tonight. Brother Erasmus, you are someone I've always have respect for. But your spinning is out of date. You don't have it anymore. Your spinning of information does not help the government, does not help the federation. You all need to ease up, and you all nonsense. Do your due diligence, get right information, and put out information that can stand up in the general public. Not hastily, emotionally, you go out there and put out stuff to blindfold who? Because you all can't blindfold DJ Marisha, you know. DJ Marisha just dig deep. And I got a very far reach. Have a very far reach. And I'm going to get the facts. And when everybody is out there stumbling over each other and cussing and carrying on, DJ going to stay calm and quiet. And I'm going to present just the facts. So tonight I'm calling out the AG's office, SKNIS, and Erasmus Williams in particular. Stop the spinning of false information. And my boy, they had freedom to, you know. My boy, the big JL. I know you're a good journalist. I know you got a good media house. Do your due diligence as well. I know you all don't like to hear the DJs talk the truth because the truth does not fit in with your narrative. But when the DJ come here with whether clips or whatever I am coming with, I'm bringing it as factual as possible. And like I said, prove me wrong. I have no problem apologizing. But this mess where the MSR, gentlemen, Mr. Martinez, Bloody Whistle, and Galaxy, we have the facts. We know who is CS Global. We know where the money is. All the documents are there. When you are going to be taking MSR off the list for the CBI, then you all should be taking off CS Global and Galaxy. Those are the first two that should have gone. I want to know if the Prime Minister and his government or his cabinet is covering somebody, and why. I need to know. If nobody's in the Federation want to know, I need to know, because I have been following this case and it doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. You are going to get obsessed with Mr. Philip Martinez. He's a convicted fraudster. But he bloody whistle on you all. That is the only time the people of this federation got some information. He filed these matters in court. Some 185, what do you call them, cases or whatever, files. You investigate in 185 files. You found people who are guilty of the crime that underpaid for the passport. And instead of you all just come out and acknowledge and thank Mr. Martinez for his work, you all try to create fake AI and try to discredit the man. You all know the saying, you know, those without sin cast the first stone. Show me any one of you in cabinet or in parliament who are innocent of everything in life. You all never make no mistake. Raise you all and tell me which one of you, because I'm going to tell you all straight up. Every one of us got something that we're not so proud of in our lifetime. The gentleman, Mr. Martinez, have done good for the country. And he should be given an opportunity to recoup his money, recoup his investment. As I said last week, the man went out ahead, investors came into the federation, purchased the OTI hotel. They have to make their money back. When you're going to shut them down, you're going to give them back the investment. You cannot treat people like this. And the DJ cannot support these kind of things. That doesn't mean I'm going against the government. I am giving fair, honest opinion, free advice. Not like Marlboro them out there just spreading propaganda and expect people going to just follow. We need to be real, my people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I see many of you renting little properties in St. Kitts and Nevis. Somebody might owe you $50, $100, and you take them to court for it. For a couple of $100. But you got a man come in with his people and invest millions, and they shouldn't give the opportunity to recoup the investment. That's what you are trying to tell me. I mean, look at recently what happened. I am hearing that some contingent of over 12 or more persons went across to Nigeria, led by the Prime Minister. What they went there for, I don't have a clue. Do I want to know? Yes. As a citizen of the Federation, I would like to know. Because while living in North America, one of the things that I know, and I have been doing some investigation from last week to now, even while I'm here in the UK, within the last couple of hours, I've spoken to people from Africa, from the various continents. Nigeria has been one of the most corrupt spaces on earth that I know. Many of the scammers, many of the hackers, Nigeria. Many of those people that hijacking vessels out there in the sea, the pirates, Nigeria. I mean, I did not know anything about this president until I heard of this trip and people start talking and doing my digging. And what I'm hearing is not positive. Why is it our prime minister? Why is it our government, our labor administration is so easy to get in bed with corrupt people? And that is a misery will have company. As a little boy growing up in St. Kitts, we used to have some magnets that we play with. When you put some of them together, they push each other away. When you turn it around, they suck each other together. I said that to say this, you know. I am very much hopeful that those magnets that is pulling these corrupt people together is not a part of our government system currently in St. Kitts and Nevis. Nevis been crying for his fair share via Premier Brantley. They said Brantley is not crying these days because he's lucky to get trips. I'm wondering if his fair share is some trips to Taiwan and now to Nigeria. I've always said, and I'll put it out there, I love Premier Brantley as an individual. I love his ambition. I just have an issue with what he's doing to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I have an issue with what he's doing to the people of Nevis. I have a serious passion about the healthcare industry. I work in it for almost 30 years. I'm still in it at the moment, as many of you are aware. And with that wasted 30 plus million in Nevis and that hospital, we don't have a problem with it. I know I can help in some regards, given an opportunity to help. But it appears as though in St. Kitts Nevis, if you mean well, if you want to do something honest, the politicians don't want to see you. Come with some underhanded deal or something, you're going to pay them something under the table, and you are welcome to the table. They don't want people that knows the work, that knows the job. Somebody tell me all of them have degrees. The place is so hot because all of them have degrees. Having degrees does not give you the ability to do the work. Having an idea does not give you the ability to execute. Having a plan, you must be able to execute the plan successful. That's something that I have mastered over the years, executing plans. My younger brother always said to me, Jeffrey, I need you to make this happen. Jeffrey, I need to make that happen. He don't settle for, I will try for me. He knows once he gives me a project, it's done. And that has been my story. That's why many of those bands in the Federation has been successful touring the globe with me. Many of them out there right now, first time they left St. Kitts to take them out of St. Kitts. This young man at the age of 21, that's some 40, almost 40 years ago. I think 40, more than 40, we actually. Because I started before 21, if you come to think of it. I've been doing this thing since I was about 18. So the situation that I have with our people of St. Kitts Nevis, and I'm going to play a clip right now, because I'm trying to make our people in our beloved Federation understand that when you elect governments, when you elect ministers, you have to pay attention to what they're saying and look at their actions. I have been following the politics, like I said, since 2020. And some people like to say, oh, I changed my mind, attacking double out of my tongue with people. If I support a politician on a particular matter and the campaign, they're going to do something, and they go in there and start to do different, am I supposed to support it still? Or am I supposed to pull them up? I got to pull them up. Doesn't mean I'm against them, but I got to pull them up. A simple example, Simple example I'm going to give you all now. And if I'm wrong, feel free, the chat is there. Say your things in the chat. I don't have a problem with anyone countering me or have a different of opinion. That is what this podcast is all about. We get very upset with government ministers because we say that they're misleading us. But do we all realize that on the 13th of August 2024, openly at Warner Park during the inauguration, that these ministers of government, the Prime Minister, the AG and all of them, they took an oath of allegiance to the Queen and an oath of secrecy. Allegiance to the Queen and an oath of secrecy. Secrecy means they're telling us nothing. They're lying to us. We all walk out of that park, including myself, happy. We have a new government. But openly just told us there that we're going to do as we please. To hell with you. Our allegiance is to the king, and we're going to do it thing, and it's a secret. And that has been taking place over the last couple of years. You try to reach some of these ministers of government, the phone that they were calling you on every day, the number no longer work. Because they don't even return a call, they got on your phone. I look at a gentleman just got installed in Trinidad. I think it's Mr. Young. He took an oath of allegiance to the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and an oath to the people, to the country. Similarly, I see similars with Anguilla. Though they take an oath to the king, the young lady took an oath to the island of Anguilla. One of the things that I am still concerned about is that it was good for me to hear the Prime Minister. Prime Minister just says he's the Prime Minister of all for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I love to hear that because the divisiveness between St. Kitts and Nevis has been going on for too long. But we're going on 3 years. In a couple of short weeks, we're going on 3 years that this government is in office. The Prime Minister have said to me privately and publicly on this podcast that he's going to go across to Nevis and have a little town hall with the people and talk to the people. It is yet to happen. But I thought my hearing was going. I'm hearing things. When I heard this ambassador and some news network in Africa last week saying that they're in Africa trying to bridge the gap between the Federation and Africa. Look at the distance between where Africa is, Nigeria, to where St. Kitts and Nevis is. And they travel with a contingent of over 12 people to bridge this gap. I would like to see how much contact cement they use, how much installation they use, how much T111 plywood they use bridging this gap. What was the cost to the Federation, to the taxpayers for this gap that they're trying to bridge? What was the benefit? Was it worth it? I would like to know. If nobody else wants to know, I want to know. Because while they're trying to bridge that big gap between the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and Nigeria, St. Kitts and Nevis is, I understand, at the closest point is 2 miles. 2 miles. From Charlestown to Bastille, it's about half an hour. Over Wally Beach to Reggae Beach, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Why haven't this government, why haven't this Prime Minister, why haven't his advisors pressed him enough to bridge the gap between St. Kitts and Nevis? Why is it so hard to bridge the gap between our people right in our beloved Federation? Why is it okay for Premier Branty to jump on a plane, gone to Nigeria with a sitting government to try bridge the gap between St. Kitts, Nevis, and Nigeria, but he cannot demand that the gap be bridged between St. Kitts and Nevis right there in our beloved Federation? Premier Brantley, I'm not cussing you, I just want us to have that conversation because somewhere along the line, you guys are lost. Every last one of you. You are lost. I do not know what you all discuss in cabinet. I do not know what you all discuss in these joint meetings that you all have, joint cabinet meetings. I don't know what you all discuss. But the DJ not happy. Once the people are not benefiting, the DJ cannot be happy no matter what you do for the DJ. No matter what you may give to the DJ. If the people are not benefiting, the DJ have a problem. We campaign on good governance. You all went in there and you all passed it in Parliament. You all campaign on freedom of information. You all went in there and you all passed it in Parliament. But you all not practicing it. Passing all of these laws you all putting in place in Parliament and not executing them, what good is it for the country? Too many lies. I got a big matter to deal with. I have the information to present. This East Coast housing matter. But that in itself is a podcast, is a night by itself. I cannot mix it with nothing else. So I have not touched it. But that corrupt situation, in my view, I will deal with it in my own time. And I prefer to deal with it when I'm on the ground in St. Kitts. Because in the event they want to arrest me when I finish, I prefer they pick me up in St. Paul's. I don't want to pick me up at RLB when I come in. So I will deal with that when I'm in the Federation. This nonsense have to stop. We, as citizens of our beloved Federation of Saints, done away with the color business, done away with the party business. We are losing our country. People fought for years. People lost their life trying to save and give us what we have today, what we are benefiting today. Don't throw it away, my good people. They come and they fool you about CARICOM and coming together as one. Well, in the United Nations, government after government, representative after representative, go in there and stand up and say they want to take the embargo off Cuba. They support Cuba. I listen to our prime ministers, every last one of them. So Taiwan is our friend. They recognize Taiwan. They want Taiwan to be a part of the United Nations. While China is saying no. One China. Well, we have these ministers and prime ministers in the Caribbean. Look like they're not on the same page. Because while I hear our Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis talking about China doing so much for the Federation and should have their right to govern themselves, right across the road in Dominica, I'm hearing a Prime Minister saying he supports one China. So let's take a quick listen to this clip.
We stand very strongly in the One China principle, and so we will support and play our part in the peaceful reunification of the whole of China. China sees us as a friend. We see China as a friend, and as the saying goes, a friend in need is a friend indeed, and China has been indeed a friend. China is a friend all times, but certainly in difficult times, and we have always been able to rely on China's support. The Chinese don't give us a loan and say to us, you have to do A, B, and C. No. They give us a loan with no conditions, no strings attached.
Cabos, located at...
Yes, so you heard that coming from the Prime Minister of Dominica. Said that he support the one China, basically to hell with Taiwan. So what do these prime ministers discuss when they're at these regional meetings? Why they're not on the same page? Well, there's a young lady over there in Dominica that made a response to the prime minister. So let's take a listen to what that young lady had to say.
I just want to send a direct message to the Honorable Roosevelt Skinner.
Sorry, the young man made a response to Brother Roosevelt Skinner.
And simply ask, how did we get to this? How did we get to a stage where we're so desperate to cling on to power that we're firing shots, tear gas at Dominicans under a Labour Party government who's supposed to be sensitive to the rights and interests of ordinary Dominicans? This is not a situation that we should be proud of, and I'm urging you, as the Prime Minister of the country, that your time has come to an end. All good things must come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. You're not the king of Dominica. You're not the king of the Dominica Labour Party. We've embraced you as a party back in 2000, and we put you forward as the candidate for the VACAS constituency. You were a young, humble, ambitious man who we saw had leadership credentials. We appreciate what you've done for the party. You filled some huge shoes back in 2004 after we've lost two prime ministers. We lost Rosie Douglas. We lost Pierre Charles. You filled the void. We were under IMF's scrutiny. And you were there. You can go down in history as a transformative leader of Dominica. But the road you're going down now is threatening to delegate you to the dustbin of diabolical dictators who have hung on to power too long, who have overstayed their welcome, and have reversed gains that would have otherwise been attributable to them. So I'm urging you, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, do not follow the road of dictatorship. Do not follow the road of Idi Amin. Do not follow the road of Mobutu Sese Seko. Do not follow the road of Baby Doc, Papa Doc. Follow the road of Keith Rowley of Trinidad and Tobago, who stepped down before the end of his term. Follow the road of the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. No Prime Minister in the Commonwealth has been more popular and had more praise laid upon him than Justin Trudeau. Yet after 3 terms, he's taken the decision to step down as the Prime Minister to pave the way for young, more invigorated leadership within his own Liberal Party of Canada. Take that route. I'm urging you. It's in your best interest. You can walk away on your own terms. President Biden pardoned his entire family having left the office of Prime Minister. You can negotiate terms that will protect you and your interests and your family. You do not have to drag Dominica down with you. This is no longer about Dominica. This is no longer about the people. This is about you, one individual who has gone far beyond his mandate and is now becoming a danger to the people of Dominica. And I'm urging you, you still have an opportunity to go down in history in a positive light. You don't want your name associated with those diabolical dictators in the history of politics. You want to be remembered as somebody who made a positive contribution to the upliftment of your country, and you can still do so now, but you have to understand and recognize that the writing is on the wall. Your time is up. Step down with humility and courage, and you will be rewarded for that. This is Cabral Douglas advising the Prime Minister in a loving and respectful way to step down. Your time is up, sir, and we appreciate what you've done. But if you choose the road of dictatorship, if you choose the road of misery, there will be a price to pay. And it's not only going to be on you, but it will also be on the country. And that is not something that you want to be remembered for. This is Cabral Douglas signing out, and bye for now.
So very good, people. A few weeks back, I did touch on this matter where I see some protests taking place at the government house there in Dominica, and some kind of shots was firing. Do not know whether it was blank bullets, live ammo, tear gas, or the otherwise. But these are things I do not want to see happen in our beloved Federation. Not too long ago, there was the Battles and Stones, I think this was in 93 on Church Street. We are in a very bad place at the moment. Whether we want to accept it or not, we are heading down a very, very serious road. And the DJ can only speak on these things and hope that the powers that be put country above self as our motto. Don't listen to the people that's singing what you want to hear. Pay attention to the country. The sovereignties of a country is very important. I want us to remember something, Just not too long ago under COVID, when the boats couldn't dock when they're supposed to, people crying, the shop shelves were empty. If we were to go to this situation again, where the planes stop coming into the Federation, the boats stop dock at the Deepwater Port, are we able to sustain ourselves? This is a road that we are heading down. That is a very serious matter. Do not follow the politicians to the road of destruction. Make sure you make them understand this is not what we put you there for. We put you there to make sure our country is sustainable. Not just the fancy clothes and the polished talking and the round table that is very square. When you come at a round table, everybody around that table must have an equal say. As I said before, these news media journalists we have in St. Kitts Nevis, they're very disappointing because they don't follow up on the questions. Whatever these politicians tell them, they just run with it. No investigative journalism, no critical thinkers. Nobody want to get on nobody's bad side. Well, guess what? It seems as though my new hobby is to get on the politician and bad side. Because I'll be calling the things as I see them. And who don't like it? Mr. Harlington was still are tough. Now, you got a clip here I'm going to drop by Brother Rubio. I am one who is not surprised with what's taking place in the US. People getting in all kind of high and worrying about the new president. The new president just making more noise coming. You all know got some nice the bus in St. Kitts and Nevis with their loudspeaker coming, blasting. That's the new president in America. The other buses coming in making a noise, but they're doing the same job. The former president wasn't doing nothing different to what this president is doing. But this one is just braggadocious, expressing some gangsterism. I remember back in the days when Dougie said he bad since he's born. He come back, he said badness out of style. Because the badness doesn't get you any place. When you throw a punch here, somebody gonna throw back one day. People will get hurt. Innocent people will get hurt. And this is where we are. So let's take a quick listen to Brother Rubio.
Secretary Rubio, my question is, or questions in relation to the matter of the Cuban Medical Corporation program as well. So the medical mission has been a cornerstone of healthcare in Jamaica and the Caribbean for over 50 years, according to our foreign minister. How does the U.S. reconcile its stance on this program with the region's reliance on Cuban medical professionals, and what alternatives does it propose to ensure healthcare stability?
Well, yeah, I think the first thing is to separate the medical from the labor issues that we are pointing to. Okay, this is not about doctors. Okay, this is not about the provision of medical assistance. We have no problem with medical assistance. We have no problem with doctors. We have a problem, and I'm not speaking about Jamaica. We've discussed this today about, you know, following international labor standards and the like, but I'm just talking about this program in general, how it's operated around the world. And how it's operated around the world is that basically the doctors are not paid. In many other parts of the world, the doctors are not paid. You pay the Cuban government. The Cuban government decides how much of anything to give them. They take away their passports. They basically operate as forced labor in many places. Now, there are places that have better labor standards. Perhaps Jamaica is one of those, and that's fine. But I'm describing generally what the program has been. It has operated in that way in many parts of the world and placed these people in tremendous danger. And so I think we can all agree that the trafficking in labor, be they doctors or farm workers, is not something that we would want to be supportive of, and we find that to be an egregious practice on the part of the Cuban regime. Now, every country operates their program differently. And obviously, because of our relationship with Jamaica, we're going to engage with them on that and talk about it further and have a better understanding. Perhaps none of this applies in the way it's handled here. But generally, that's the problem with the program. It's not that they're Cuban doctors. It's that the regime does not pay these doctors, takes away their passports, and basically it is, in many ways, forced labor. And that we cannot be in support of. Again, not speaking about here in particular, but in general about the program.
So my good people, that was Brother Rubio giving his explanation to one of the hot topics that been circulated in our federation about Cuban doctors. As you heard Brother Rubio say for itself, it's not about the Cuban doctors. It's about other situations, security, border security and stuff like that. So let's take a quick listen to what the Foreign Minister, Dr. Douglas, said at his press conference recently.
Of course, we speak of the need to have cheaper electricity. One of the immediate things that will happen is at least 2 investors have indicated their interest in providing solar energy panels constructed here using the technology that we witnessed ourselves when we visited the appropriate factory in Taiwan last week. We did have in the past, as you would know, a number of solar panels installations for the government's benefit. At the RLB International Airport, you would recall, and also at the roundabout there at the Central Bank going into Frigate Bay. Re-engagement has taken place. Those companies that provided those two small, maybe we can say experimental plants, are prepared to go further, especially since the technology has improved. That Mr. Kelly was able to point out that there were certain specific issues and maybe challenges that were provided, because once they were installed, you would remember that the government that succeeded the Labour government after 2015 seemed not to have paid much attention to those already installed outfits. So we have therefore looked at this as immediately returning to bringing renewable energy in the form of solar energy on the rooftops of residential homes, so that we would be able to, with the support of SCELEC, have domestic production of solar energy with the appropriate technology and systems attached. They would be able to most likely send energy back into the national grid. That is the excess beyond which is used domestically in their homes. And here is where again it became important for us to speak seriously, and Mr. Kelly and his counterparts, the importance of artificial intelligence, ensuring that there's a smart system that will now operate within SCELEC, so that any feedback to the national grid of SCELEC will not destabilize the entire system. Or, as you would have heard, again demonstrated in a different way, when the hurricanes would pass, etc., there is need to stabilize the grid. And so there is going to be investment in ensuring that the national grid is a smart national grid, so that it can detect the threats to its instability and shut down accordingly, as would be directed from the intelligence gathered from the appropriate machines. I don't know if Kelly wants to speak to this later on, but the returns are immediate, because immediately we are sensitizing our people to get into the support of this new thrust by having solar panels on their homes. So the immediate returns. And I don't have to mention about the increasing in the number of scholarships we demanded and received on the spot. An increased number of scholarships in certain specific areas that the government believe is absolutely necessary for us to churn out new trained minds in those areas that we have identified to be critical to assist us to attain the sustainable island state that we speak of. The matter with regard to Rubio, Secretary of State Rubio, yes, Rubio came to the Caribbean region. St. Kitts and Nevis was not one of those countries that had any bilateral discussions with him. But when I was in Washington 2.5, 3 weeks ago, we did meet with an envoy of the Secretary of State, who met with the foreign ministers of CARICOM and discussed a number of matters. Of course, the Cuban situation was one of those. I think it was made very clear at that meeting, and I will go on to part of your question also that spoke to what St. Kitts and Nevis is doing with regard to the specific concerns that Rubio and others would have identified. The payment, the salaries of the Cuban doctors and Cuban trained personnel who are here in St. Kitts and Nevis. That meeting in Washington, we were able to outline to the envoy that each of us would have had different arrangements. And in fact, I specifically said that St. Kitts and Nevis arrangement is open, it is fair, it does not contribute to slave labor, it does not contribute in any way to the further dehumanization of Cuban people as is being accused, not at all. And we have examined all of the contracts and the agreements that we have signed with the Cuban government and with the individual personnel. They each have their bank accounts. Their salaries are similar to the salaries that we would pay our own local doctors who went anywhere in the world to be trained, have returned with their knowledge and practicing and hired by governments. The amenities that are provided to them, housing, etc., are the very same of our own nationals who are working here. And we have shared that with the United States government. We are not part of that. St. Kitts and Nevis is operating a clean arrangement with the Cuban nationals who provide services here for our people. We have examined, the Attorney General's office has examined all of the contracts, because we not only have Cubans here who are providing medical services, but we have them also in the Ministry of Works. We have a number of engineers who are doing contracting work with the ministry. And that agreement, I have seen it myself, does not in any way dehumanize the Cubans. Everything is above board, and we have emphasized that to the United States government with regard to the situation. Of course, the United States has said, well, we're interested in best practices, and they made certain suggestions as to what could be the best practices. But their best practices do not in any way injure our best practices as well. And so we are able to continue to provide the services to our people that is required, because our people need the services that are being obtained from the Cubans. With regard to the Venezuela situation, at the moment, I am told that although we are a member, and we are a proud member of PDVSA, as you would know, I was one of the original signatories to PDVSA. You would remember that Hugo Chavez was invited here. The only place in the Eastern Caribbean he came was here when Petrocarib had their conference here. So we continue to have a relationship. At the moment, as I said, I do not think that we are actually purchasing products from Venezuela, mainly because we've had some problems with approval of the vessel that will be doing the transportation normally. Right, approval of the vessel that would be doing the transportation normally in docking here in St. Kitts and Nevis. There are certain specific requirements that were made, and unless the vessel is retrofitted to meet those requirements that have been initiated by the St. Kitts government, St. Kitts Nevis government, and the companies that store, etc., then there is no, at the moment, there is no purchase of products directly from Venezuela.
Hey!
You know, my good people, as I listen to Dr. Douglas making his presentation, it takes me back to a couple of opportunities I had to speak at town hall meetings or even with these ministers of government. I don't understand why we have competent people in our beloved federation, or even nationals overseas that have the experience in these systems, but politicians want to be on the mic, trying to be electricians and engineers. I am an electrician for some 40 plus years. I have worked at various levels. As I've said here on numerous occasions, I run a hospital engineering department as a lead electrician for several years. During those times, I have visited St. Kitts during hurricanes, putting up my business in St. Paul's. And one of the issues that we face then and now is electrical issues, more so low voltage. Anyone that lives on St. Kitts or in the rural area would know that during the day, you could turn on your fluorescent lights, you could operate at normal speed. However, at 6 in the evening, you try to turn on those switches and those fluorescent lights not coming on. Voltage drop. This is not the days where you had just one porcelain chain in a kitchen, and that's all the light you have. Today, the average homes have microwave, refrigerator, dishwasher, washing machine, name it. How much of a television in their house. So if you look at the size of wire that going from the main lamp pole to the homes, is undersized, which create a problem in general on the grid. Now, back in 2000, when I opened the Inner Circle Guest House, I can recall going to the electric light department, having conversation with a gentleman by the name of Dan Liebert. Dan Liebert is still alive, very advanced, experienced electrician that work at the electric light. And in order to get that building, that tall building in St. Paul's, the Inner Circle, in order to get it function, to get the lights turned on and other equipment working, that building was fed from 2 different locations. Down the foot of the road by Prime Minister Douglas, and a feed coming from down the foot of the road by the ATM. The reason for that, the tap and those transformers, we turned them up to the max and still could not get the right amount of voltage to stabilize at evenings. And it was a couple of days that Dan and I drove around St. Paul's and making the adjustment. This is a gentleman that I would always respect because not only he knew his work, he was working with people and explaining stuff. Now, under the PAM administration, under Kennedy Simmons, I spoke to them about putting in some substation throughout the island, put underground cables, and try to change the infrastructure because I say it then, I'm going to say it now. We have a serious electrical problem in the Federation. They're going to continue to destroy our generators and our system over at Needmos. Many of our systems are duplicated. Anyone who is an electrician will understand the difference between a delta system, which is the delta wiring in a transformer, and the WISE system. That is one of our main issues we have on St. Kitts. I do not know about Nevis. But when you're going to have a WISE system feeding through a delta system or vice versa, you're going to have some serious problem. So throughout the island, and we had enough time to do it. I have said it to the former PAM administration. I have said it to a Denzel Douglas administration. I spoke to Cedric Liebert when he was in charge of that department, that we need to put our cables underground. It's time enough that we fix the infrastructure in the Federation. Putting in new generators in Bastia will not take care of the problem. The feedback gonna come just the same. You're gonna continue to burn out these instruments, and the taxpayer is gonna continue paying the price. Because to maintain these equipment, you're going to keep charging people for them. My good people, I do not know who else to talk to because listening to Douglas speaking a while ago on that clip, where Douglas is talking about a smart system that will sense feedback and shut down system, Douglas, those things don't exist. Even in big America or in other states, when you got tornadoes and hurricane, when your system get hit, it get hit. Whatever technology you have on the inside for the switches, you can protect the switches on the inside. But those grid on the outside, they're in the weather. You can't protect them from anything. You guys need to sit down and talk to people with the knowledge that understand the system and take care of the infrastructure on the island before putting in these sensitive generators, because that's another thing we have here. The older system back in the days where you get from Canada and England, which was 50 cycle, they could have withstand more problems, more backlash from low voltage and those kind of stuff. With the new system that you guys are having now coming from China and the US and other places is 60 cycle, is more sensitive. It's easier to damage. Your refrigerators, your air conditioning in your place is going to get damaged easier because they are now 60 cycle. 60 cycle because it moves a little faster. The 50 cycle is different. You guys have everything in the Federation backwards, ass backwards. And instead of speaking to people that have the experience, you all go there and you are a little round table and you are press conference and trying to use these fancy words. Fancy words is not going to fix the problem in our beloved Federation. You got another gentleman in New York, used to work at the electric line, by the name of Brother Moses Davron. He worked with Dan Libert as well. He works with me at the hospital. He understands the issue. We understand the issue because we have discussed it. And I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Before Dan Libert take flight, I recommending that you folks at the electric light, because many of you there have these big position driving around in your truck, don't have a clue about the technical issues with electric. But you all have big position in electric light. And this lies the problem. Go to Keon and pick up Dan Libert. Bring him to the office, give him a coffee and some donuts and sit down and speak. Speak to the man about the system that he left there. Speak about upgrading and what needs to be done, the infrastructure. I can recall in the 90s, 94, between 94 to 2000, when I was speaking about putting in underground cables, Dan Libert took me in the yard over there by the old ice plant and said, Mr. Maurice, see the cable them there waiting. The cable them is there on the ground to be pulled, to put underground. For whatever reason, the government not paying attention to that. So they stop them, they rat. You get donations from around the globe to put things in place, and you have these incompetent people that you all put in these positions who either do not know their job, don't care about getting the problem resolved, or they undermining a government. Because I took my 2 eyes and see those cables. You might not be able to do the entire island at one time. But I keep saying to them, when these lampposts fall down during the hurricane, or somebody lick them down from a car accident, dig the trench, put in the pipe, put in some concrete manhole, set up the substations around the island. That way when you have an issue, you're not going to shut down the whole island like my partner did a couple of months ago, said that they smell something in the power station, so they shut down the whole island. No. You isolate areas that you have to shut down, not a whole island. You label the areas what feed where. If there's a problem in St. Paul's, there's no need to shut down Bastia whole road. My good people, we have people who have the ability, the knowledge, the experience that can resolve a lot of these issues. Whether you all go online or go to university and get this piece of paper, a piece of paper don't do the work. Practical experience is what we are bringing to you. Practical know-how, not no guesswork. It's too much degrees that run in the country. Too much smartness. Everything smart. We're going to build 2,400 smart homes in our term. 600 per year, but you can't find 10. And you're going in 3 years. Too much smartness. Everybody's smart. You find over 100 fake marriages in the first couple of months in office. Today, the age is saying is over 1,200, but he do not know how to prosecute the case. They cannot prove the matter, but he knows 1,200. Mr. AG, these kind of things, you cannot come and tell sensible people. This kind of stuff you shout at your caucus to your labor people who are going to just clap for everything all you say. But when you are coming to the general public where people are thinking about the best interest of the Federation, we're not going to fly for those things. We have experienced people. I can't go Nevis and tell Carbo how to cook his goat water. I don't have a clue. But there's nothing Carbo could tell me about my music or my electrical other things. You know, so I am calling on our Kittitians and division at home and abroad. We got to come to the rescue of the country. The politicians are not going to do it for us. We got to come to the rescue because I am convinced that is either they campaign about doing things that they had no knowledge about. They get in there and whatever they find, sweet them. So they join the boys club and the girls club. Corruption is just a part of our system. Nobody gonna tell me that the candidates that I support in 22 in St. Kitts Nevis, nobody gonna tell me that they're corrupt, they're criminals, and gone in there to do wrong. But the bottom line, we see the turmoil. So we have to get to the bottom of the problem. Where is the problem? We have to fix it. I'm not going to be here spinning for anybody, you know. I am a medium pace bowler. In my younger age, I do a little fast pace. In my older age, I do a little medium. But I'm not going to start to be a spin bowler. I'm going to continue to bowl my medium pace. And there's time in this year here, 2025, to correct a lot of the missteps by Prime Minister Joe and his team. But we don't have much time left to do it. The people are fed up. They tell me straight up, Marisha, we listen to you. We give them a chance. And we ain't seen the results. So we don't want to hear about them. We don't want to hear about, this is not what the DJ is saying. This is what the people are going to vote saying. The DJ only have one vote in number 6. You need more than that to form a government. I hear folks making noise last week because I understand the former Prime Minister and only living national hero came out and made a statement that PAM, the People's Action Movement, door is open to citizens who have left the PAM party and who is fed up with Labour and fed up with PLP to come, but leave the leader, don't bring the leader with them. And people getting upset. The man speak his mind, he got an opinion. He want to give the people a chance, but he don't want the bad actors. He have seen what the bad actors have done. He came out in the last election in 22, and he made a big statement that he knew Timothy was bad for the country, but he had to get rid of Douglas, and by any means, he wanted to get rid of Douglas, so he support Timothy. Well, he want to make amends now. He's saying anybody but Tim. So you want to kill the national hero over. The man is thinking about his country. I have spoken to Timothy Harris recently, and he's a different person I'm seeing now to the 21-22 elections campaign. He's saying now he understands. But the question is, does Timothy really understand where he made his mistake? Does Timothy really understand the damage he did to the country? Does Timothy really understand the good he could have done And does Timothy really understand that he played himself a bad deal and he's not going to get a second opportunity as Prime Minister? Does Timothy understand that? I do not know. But according to the people, the electorate that going to decide who form the next government, Timothy talking to them, and guess what some of them is saying? Well, at least Timothy used to give money. Whether he take or not, he used to give people money. This government ain't sharing with the people. They're only taking all for themselves. This is what the people are saying. This is not what the DJ is saying. This is what the people are saying. So my good people, there's so much to talk about that is taking place right now in our beloved Federation that, we cannot do it in 2 hours, but I have to do my do within that time frame. And right now, I think it's about 10:33 in the, not 10:33, actually, 12:33 in the UK. We should be about 7:33 in the Caribbean and in New York. So you only have a few minutes to go before we sign off from this podcast. But there are so there is some things that I need to really get clear tonight before I leave here, my good people. Because I don't want anyone to get the wrong intention or the wrong idea that I am calling for a removal of government or a collapse of government. I am calling on the current Prime Minister and his ministers of government to understand what the campaign was about, what the mission was, why the people elect them, and what they need to do. Many mistakes that have made in life can be corrected. But you cannot continue to play bullheaded and hard-headed and don't make the adjustment. You cannot continue to do stuff and say, I'm sorry, and keep repeating it. You all cannot continue to tell people that you all are smart. You all are the A-team while making mistake and being so divisive. What the people are talking, I can't come and tell them talk different. I cannot tell the people anything different to say. It's what they're living. The folks over here in the diaspora, they're not home. Many of them will not go home to live under those conditions. But they want to stay over here in the diaspora and tell people in St. Kitts Nevis how to eat, what to say, who to sleep, and all this kind of thing. We cannot do that. So, I am calling on Prime Minister Joe. I am out of the Federation at the moment. I should be back in the Federation, God spare life, by the 20th of April. And I would hope that some kind of effort is made to have that dialogue with the people of Nevis. You guys went and tried to bridge a gap in Nigeria. Let's try and bridge that gap in our little small nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm calling on Prime Minister Douglas, former Prime Minister Harris, former Prime Minister Simmons, the leaders of the various parties, the CCM Premier, leader of NRP, independents. Let's come together and unite the nation. When the time comes to have an election and a campaign, then everybody could break loose and do what you all want to do. But for the sake of the people and for the sake of the Federation, let's come together and do the right thing. That's what I'm calling for. That's what I'm asking for. It's okay to cuss the DJ, but let's focus on the stability and the survival of our little beloved Federation. Because if you all look at what's happening out there, I just played a clip from the Dominica Prime Minister. They support a one China. I have heard our Prime Minister, Dr. Ju, said they support Taiwan getting the independence. I have heard Prime Minister Ju says that he supports a republic in our beloved Federation, done away with England, but they keep going to England. Mixed information. I don't understand which one is it. Are we going to continue to be under the English rule? Are we going to be a republic? I need a straight answer on that. I spoke some weeks ago, and I'm going to come back to it again. I am hearing about this trial televised for the development bank. We need to know what the proposed cost for that. We are going after 20 million. How much is going to cost to televise and pay lawyers and all this kind of stuff? Does it worth it? We need to know. The 400 million that is missing, we know where the money is. We want to know what plans are being put in place to find that money. Several unfinished business in our bill of federation that we have to stay on. My people, as long as I have health and strength in my body, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here asking these questions. Now, my good people, you know, cannot go to the end of this podcast and not speak about my brother there, the Lord Black. I know some of you don't want to hear about Brother Black. But Brother Black was not only human, he's one of our legend, our icon. And what happened to Lord Black should not happen to another citizen. And individuals must be held accountable. Individual must come to the people and let them know that there's improvement. Now, for those of you who may have missed it, because I have spoken to several people, even some in government, who are telling me they did not know that cans went missing. So for those of you, let me let you know. Today, the 2nd of April, 2025, mark 245 days since Brother Cans Edwards, the Lord Black, aka the Buffalo Soldier, went missing on August 1st, 2024. Check the dates, do your calculation. If I'm wrong, correct me. But today, mark 245 days since Brother Cans Edwards went missing. Today, April 2nd, mark 237 days since the Buffalo Soldier Cans Edwards was found in a gut in the Saddlers Mountain, dead. 9 days after he went missing, 9 days later, he was found dead in a gut. 225 days since his funeral. More than 29 weeks since notices, letters, at least 3 of them, were sent to the Ministry of Health to get some answers. Still waiting on the High Command, the Police Department, the AG, the DPP office, still waiting to get some answers about this case. You want to tell me that in that little 68 square mile island in St. Kitts Nevis, it should take this long for a matter like this to be addressed? According to the history, the background of this particular situation, you know, the background of this situation, I was told by family members that Brother Black was living in Middle Island. He used to get visits from a doctor at his home, whether it's weekly or monthly, I don't know. But that doctor informed the family that Mr. Edwards was diagnosed with dementia. As a result of that, he cannot be alone. He needs to have around-the-clock care. Well, the family took the advice of this doctor and admitted the Buffalo to the home. Well, the Buffalo is supposed to be in a warm bed, taking his medication, being monitored and clean and fed, because this family pay more than $2,500, 25 and up per month for his care. But the Buffalo that's supposed to be having around-the-clock care was allowed to roam the streets of Saddlers on his own. As a result, on August 1st, 2024, the Buffalo never made it back to his care home. 9 days later, he's found dead. What is so hard in this matter to do an investigation, get some answers, check the medical records, see if things are on the up and up. Ensure that all homes across the Federation are in compliance with some regulations. I've been told by the Prime Minister, by the PS, and by the CMO that there are some regulations that has been drafted, that has been worked on to be put in place. That is a positive move. I welcome it and I credit them for it, but until I see it put in place, I'll continue to come here on a Wednesday evening and give you my updates. Should not be this long. On the other hand, that home where the black was, they have some explaining to do. If you are responsible to collect the monies from the family for the gentleman's care, then you are liable to explain why this man is missing for 9 days and found dead in a mountain. Responsibility, liability. You're responsible to collect, you are liable for the injury. Simple enough. Straightforward, simple. I don't understand why in St. Kitts Nevis, it all depends on who party in power, or who a person are, which family member, the laws change and the rules change. That will not happen under the DJ, you know. That will not happen under the DJ. My good people, I realize that the time is creeping up on me, you know. It's just about 12:42 here in the UK. I guess 7:42 in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. But I want to drop a track here by the King Star Shield. I want to drop a quick track by the King Star Shield before I sign off this evening. So let me see if I can find this track here by the King Star Shield before I can sign off, because we're gonna finish up at 1 a.m. here. We're going to sign off at 1 a.m. for sure. I am not going too far overtime this evening, because at the end of the day, I have to get over there to show a little love and respect to my sisters and brother, as we say farewell to our sister there, Sylvia Hutchinson. I'm going to give the information on that in a bit, but just before we do that, I really have to drop this track here by the King Star Shield. This one is called The Vicious Circle, and that seems to be what we have in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts, a bunch of vicious people. Good evening, Sister Hazel. Hope all is well with your sister Anelta. How about Sister Beverly, my baby girl there? Gwyneth, my son there, Jeffroy Jr., over there in the LA area. How is Sister Jazz, my sister Esther there in Tortola, the kids, Mokish, my brother Carl Morris and team there in the Virgin Islands, my cousin there, Ken and Pam. Hope all is well. The man, brother Benter, how are you doing? Stand by for the King Star here.
What is the reason for you to fear the iniquities of wicked men nowadays, when you are aware that all that is in their minds is to upraise strife and confusion? But the same does fall on their children, down to the third and fourth generation. Corruption, I say, it could work, but it just can't pay. For most people who are living sky high today, got rich in dishonest ways, and living with day from day to day, I can say that if they could hold the key to destruction and upturn this place to confusion, they would strive to do all they can do. So this message I bring to you, especially for them wicked people, and it's not lies, so listen to my cry. If a man spit up to the sky, it must fall straight back in the eye. residents at 8 p.m. instant or somewhere they never went. I call it a bed and back situation, breeding corruption over the land. But they'll cease from their wicked plan when they understand that the one who holds the key to destruction, someday he'll turn their life to confusion. They continue to seduce my people. But when he see they're getting too far, he would take away the power before they die. So they'll know it's not lie, that when they spit up to the sky it must fall straight back in their eye. Broadcasting and rumors going around, information about wolves in sheep clothing, keeping us down. Just like Jim Jones, the minister over in Guyana, using God's name to make a cover for the land he want to take over. He didn't mind to kill a multitude at one time, after making them sign him as beneficiary of their social security. But not he didn't live to spree his decree. For he do not hold the key to destruction to stop them from shooting him down, or he'd openly let it be me. But the one above has the plan to make all them decisions, and if I lie, oh, he wouldn't have to die when he spit up to the sky and it fall straight back in here. I do not intrude on no specific man, for when I sing my song I just sing it from true inspiration. Whatever I do does surely affect me too. For whatever deed that I do, it becomes a vicious circle. Vanity never makes happiness for you, so you should never spoil your future days for vanity which does not pay. For happiness can only be when your mind is free, and you know who holds the key to destruction can make this a happy nation if we strive to do what we should do. That's why this message I bring to you would help us to struggle through, let it reach you high. So even if I die here, I spit a blessing up to the sky, let it fall straight back in your eye.
Yes, sound of the man King Starshield, and like he said, spit a blessing up to the sky, let it fall straight back in your eye. Again, I want to thank my sister Jennifer, Clive, and Jermaine for accommodating me here in the UK for the homegoing service celebration of my sister dear Sylvia Hutchinson, which will be taking place later today. So for you folks in the UK who intend to attend this service later today, the family have asked that you join us to celebrate the life of Sylvia Hutchinson, and that will take place today, Thursday, April 3rd, 2025 at 11:45 a.m. at the Aston Parish Church, Whitney Lane, B6, 6QA, interment at 2 p.m. at the Handsworth Cemetery, Axtell Road, Handsworth, postcode B218JT. And they ask that you wear something purple. There will be a reception following this event at the Parklands Banquet Suite. So for those of you folks who will be attending the funeral and you don't get a chance to catch up with the DJ, that will be a place that we can mingle. And I will see my girl Margaret Taylor there, Yvonne and the crew. So I look forward to seeing many of you folks that will come out and support my family later today. My good people, it's unfortunate that I have to call it quits in a few minutes. As I said, it's approaching the 1 o'clock a.m. here in the UK, and I am very, very tired from traveling all night from New York to Birmingham, and then the trip up from London to this residence here. But I want to send some showers of blessing on my sister and hope that she rests in eternal peace. But before I drop my closing track for this evening, let me drop the ad one more time for you folks who may be on the web and wondering what this program is all about. Let's take a quick listen to what this program is all about.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, man, and as we move into our final track, this one is by the late great King Arrow. This one is called Arise, My People. Hazel, I know you love to bounce to this one and shake your booty, but please listen to the lyrics and let's have a pleasant evening and pleasant morning for those you folks in the UK. Yes, Sister Laurette, it's today. Is not tomorrow. So it's already morning here in the UK. As we bring it down, the King Arrow.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration, wrecking our unification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that brings us to a close for this evening. Wednesday, actually, in the UK. It's Thursday, April 3rd. I want to take this opportunity to send some condolences to the family of one of my regular listeners here. I understand Officer Clark passed away sometime over the weekend. So, Nurse Clark, just want to say big up to you and Brother Cedric Labour Clark and the rest of the family and the passing of my good friend here, Brother Clark. I also want to say good evening and good night to Sister Cora Bennett. Thanks for your continued support of this podcast over the years. And Sister Anne Farrell Smith, good evening. Thanks for all your efforts and help in ensuring that the DJ made it from the JFK to the Bronx safely on Saturday evening. And the man, Brother Harley, for assisting in getting me back across to JFK. Ruben and Brother Timothy Daniel, thanks for bringing me across to Birmingham. My good people, as we say good night where you are, good morning here in the UK, as I said, as we set out to celebrate the life of my sister dear Sylvia this morning, I look forward to seeing you folks back here next Wednesday, same place, same time. And God blessings and everyone.